part 2 carry on. We're talking 4 pages of YouTube videos, a screencast, screen record of every website I went on, and 3 particular snapshots of taking a picture, a screen record picture of the PC that I was on, which was PC 11, the actual network commandeering of PC 10, and then there was another one implicating the individual beside me. Now, I've got back here, ladies and gentlemen, and the files are not there. Now, the file, the hard drive has not been out of my possession. I've come straight back here, I've opened up a new hard drive, I've placed it, I've opened it up, and they're not there, ladies and gentlemen. That's because somebody, somehow, someway, the hacker of which I told Coventry Police today, and they did nothing about it, have stolen 4 pages worth of YouTube clips. So that's my private data that has been stolen via a public computer. Now, here's the technical issue here. If the files would have been left on the computer and it would have wiped itself off and refreshed itself, that then becomes not my data anymore. In other words, it's your data because it's your computer. If I put it into the recycle bin or delete it at any stage, it goes into the hard, it basically consolidates itself, goes into the drive, and that doesn't become my property anymore, intellectually. But if I just download it and go to take that download, which is what I did today, out of here, right click it and drag it onto my hard drive, the actual file itself is still my property and has gone onto my portable hard drive. So it's basically the only association it's got with the public computer is that it's been downloaded on the computer. Now again, as the police will tell you this is a crucial moment, this. If I right drag onto the hard drive, my hard drive, it basically removes it from the downloads and it says the folder is empty. Now, in essence, the police, that's if the police were investigating something or whatever, the police can basically take the hard drive away and get the files that way. They can only do that, ladies and gentlemen, with a warrant. If you have not done it with a warrant, it is an illegal intercept. Now, the people that have stole my YouTube clips today, they've stolen them like a thief in the night. Because of the PC-10 that was commandeering the network that was able to do that. Now, let's just say, go back, if the police have investigated this in 2015 when I got hacked then, and that this is an ongoing investigation, well, that's interesting, because then why are West Midlands Police ignoring and Sergeant Ryan Holborn, I can't get the file up in a minute, but it's there on the desktop. Sergeant Ryan Holborn basically just ignored everything I said in terms of West Midlands as well, saying they were not prepared to be a conduit for the Metropolitan Police Force. Now, if that's the situation, then they can't investigate anything that's to do with me. Am I correct? So what makes it different now that West Midlands Police can do that? It doesn't, because we know fine well that West Midlands Police have corrupted what's been happening with me 1,000 times over. And the Crown Prosecution Service know this. So you can't just come out of fresh air and then all of a sudden start saying we can do this and we can do that. When I was trying to tell West Midlands Police for well over a year what the situation is. Now, Coventry Police is West Midlands Police. So you can't just come in out of nowhere and hijack a hard drive and steal somebody's files. Now, if the police are not responsible for that, West Midlands, and then they're nothing to do with that whatsoever, then the files, in other words, the YouTube clips regarding Jane Devaney, regarding Jasmine, regarding other things, loads of other stuff, have been stolen and cannot be used as evidence. So we've got to remember, ladies and gents, they've actually physically been stolen. This is the important part here. They've physically been snatched off my hard drive. Which is this one here. All the files were on there before I left the internet cafe. You can actually hear me tell the police officer, the Coventry police officer, that if you want the forensics, you know, you've got my address, you know where I am, please come and get me and I'll give you them. I've got the snapshots and I've got the files. You can clearly hear me telling the officer what I have already done, because I stopped at the police station before I got back on the train to come back to Birmingham. So this is a crucial part of this. I need you. I need and the police will tell you this in terms of forensic data. I'm allowed to download my own YouTube clips through a public computer, keep them in the downloads, but take the downloads. Why? Because it's my content. It's my intellectual property. Therefore, I am allowed to take the downloads, put them on my hard drive, so they're not available or seeable, you could say, to anybody, even the owner of the computer. Why? Because they're my files. All that's happened is that the files have been downloaded through that medium. If you keep the files on there, then fine, they become your property. If the police have got a warrant, they can come and get the hard drive and extract them that way. Therefore, I lose all ownership of the files then, because it becomes an investigation for whatever purpose. So that's really crucial there. So the files have gone via the computer, but as they've gone, the same files that is, and they haven't been kept on the hard drive, they haven't been deleted, they haven't been put in the recycle bin, they haven't been anything, they've gone straight on my drive. In terms of the right click, and somebody has stolen them, the hacker that I've just told the police about, then that is an illegal interception. The police have to prove that it was them that stole, that took the videos. If they have took the videos, they have took the YouTube clips that have been downloaded via this computer, then they must have had a warrant. If they've not had a warrant, the evidence is inadmissible at every cost. And if they haven't got a warrant and they've gone and done it, then they've broke procedure and it's not admissible anyway. You've got to remember, ladies and gents, they're my YouTube clips, they're my files. I'm entitled to keep them private. All I was doing was downloading them back to my hard drive. So it's my content going onto my hard drive. Yes, I've used a public computer. But as I've just explained, the technical difference in terms of dragging them out of the downloads and straight onto my drive. And they've stole them off the drive. Now, if the police are interested in what I'm saying, all they've got to do is inspect that hard drive and they will see, technically, that it was the YouTube clips were downloaded and they came into my possession. So they were downloaded and then they went onto my hard drive, which is the white Seagate there. It is when they've been on my hard drive, it's when they've been stolen. You heard me tell the officer, if you want this information, it's on my hard drive. I come back here today and it's completely vanished. Completely and utterly vanished. And that's because they've stole the material. And are probably using it against the police or whoever they want to use it against. But they've stole the intellectual rights to it. Therefore, it is inadmissible. Just because it has gone through a public computer, it's gone through the downloads, but it's the actual downloads, of which I own anyway. There's no written law within intellectual property rights that says that I cannot download via a public computer as long as I take my downloads with me, if it's my content. Now, if it was somebody else's content, then you kind of sort of give up the ownership of the intellectual rights if you're using a public computer. And that has not happened. It's my videos that have been downloaded through a public computer. I've took the downloads with me. They've gone onto the hard drive, and they've been stolen by a hacker who was sitting at number 10. Incredible, that, isn't it? Number 10 steals the files. So the information collected is inadmissible and cannot be used under any circumstance, no matter what, because they do not have my permission, Jeff Ray. Now, this video is going to be uploaded to my YouTube tomorrow in regards to the ongoing criminal conspiracy against me. So that kind of changes things quite a bit, doesn't it? And like I say, the crucial part is that if I take my downloads with me, as in the actual entity of it, the only way of getting the file is that if you extract the file. If you actually extract the file. Now, if the police have done that, then they need a warrant. If that's not the police, then that information cannot be used, because the way they've gained the information is through interception, which, as you heard the officer saying, it is not legal to actually take my content. They've stolen the content. You see, they're not expecting me to basically challenge it to the hilt in regards to this. They've stolen the content via hacking. So you got to remember, if it would have been left on the drive and the session would have finished, I automatically give up the rights, because my session ends and it basically gets imprinted onto the drive. But because I took the downloads with me, they've breached the situation by stealing the files off the drive via the interception that was coming from Terminal 10. Now, I'd be able to show you this if they would not have stolen the files. So again, a complaint is getting made to West Midlands Police for the stealing of my intellectual property. Another thing, what I'll do is, I'll just play this video. So as you can see, that was the one there today. Now, this is important, this will get uploaded tomorrow. You can see me at Terminal 11. And there's Terminal 10, where the individual left. That was sat beside me. And you just saw the white drive on the left hand side, in where they've stole it from. See there? And that's the white drive that I've just shown you there now. So they've stole it from the actual hard drive. The files were put on the hard drive. And the hacker has commandeered the network, which has given them access to the machine, which has given them access to the hard drive, and they've stole the files that way. They're not entitled to steal the files if it's right-clicked and dragged in from the downloads. In other words, it's been downloaded, the downloads have been dragged to there, so therefore it's still my property. But the way they've breached this is that a hacker has come in at number 10 and done it that way. They've got it off the drive. You see, what you got to remember, if it would have stayed on there, it still becomes there. But it got dragged to my hard drive. And if it got dragged to my hard drive, and they've gone onto my hard drive, then you're breaching my parameters, aren't you? You're breaching intellectually my parameters. You're coming onto my personal drive, and you're taking back what you think it belongs to you. And it doesn't, because it's my content created by me. The only difference is it was used via a public computer. And I think you'll find a judge will agree with me in terms of the technical way that this has gone. Now, if they hadn't have gone to my drive to get to snatch the files, of which if you get a forensic extraction, you'll be able to see that they were on the drive, then you wouldn't have been able to do that. Now, we can remember, if they've done it another way, by the way, and they've copied the computer, in other words, they've copied the hard drive, their hard drive, and is being operated remotely from somewhere else, they did not inform me about that. They have to inform myself if there is a doubled up clone copy of the hard drive that I'm downloading onto. You need to understand that. And they did not do that. Now, the police don't have to do that, but everybody outside the police and the government has to do that. And they did not do that, so therefore that breaches my right, and that gives me my right to enable to stop you taking the downloads that belong to me off my own hard drive. Off my own hard drive. And the forensic inspection will tell you they were on my hard drive. And that is obviously backed up by me telling the police officer today, if you want the files, I've got them. I got back here and the files have absolutely vanished. And the drive has not been out of my sight. So, the files have been stolen, ladies and gentlemen. The material has been stolen in regards to the evidence that I've been building against a criminal conspiracy. Individuals cannot use evidence that belongs to me, that has been created by me and only for me and only for my eyes. It's not my fault you have a problem. These people have a problem with the police and the government and other individuals. But they're not going to be stealing my files off my hard drive to use them as a legal leverage. That goes for the police, the government, and anybody else. Now, I think you'll find that the police and the government cannot do anything, in other words, taking the information off my drive without a warrant. If they've got the warrant, I want to see it. But how could you get the warrant through in time when I didn't even know where I was going? So they basically just hustled their way through this, thought they could steal the files, use the files against the police and everybody else. I'm telling you now, they do not have my permission, and I've just explained the process. There's another thing here as well. Just bear with me. So as you can see there, video playback, that's an important part, that actually. Now on the video playback it says removed. What was happening is sometimes it was coming up the title that I was downloading, and then other times it was coming up video playback, and I went to play the video playback at the bottom and it said removed. So that's how you also know somebody was intercepting the files via a different medium, which is why it's not coming up video playback. In other words, what's happening, ladies and gentlemen, they're stealing my information before it's even getting to me. You can't do that. It's my information that's coming to me. It's my content, and if you want to take it, you've got to go to. If you want to take my information, you've got to get an extraction. But the extraction you can't get via back off my hard drive. You got to understand that. That's how they've got it. They haven't got it via the downloads through a copy of their own hard drive. And if they've done that, and they've got a copy through their own hard drive, they've got to inform me that they're doing that. They can't just go back on. Just because I've taken the downloads that I've downloaded but use their computer, you can't go onto my hard drive, which you can see attached, and start stealing them back. Because that's when it becomes theft, doesn't it? I think you'll find a judge will agree with me when it's, you know, there can be no argument in turning around and saying that I've downloaded via your computer and I've stolen your files. Well, I haven't stolen your files. It's just your computer's been used. I've basically taken my files that I've downloaded out of my account and the content that belongs to me. You are under the misapprehension that you believe intellectually that those files belong to you. But the only way you've got them is that you've gone onto my external hard drive, which is attached to your computer, to steal them. And you believe that you are in the right to do that. And I think you will find the judiciary will agree with myself. So this is something that the Metropolitan Police need to get onto very, very quick. This is the Internet Cafe in the bus station in Coventry, West Midlands. More to follow.